What is up? It is Andy, and dare I say, are you happy to see me on a Monday? Are you? Because as the playoffs have gone along, specifically the conference finals, we finally found some stability because the first couple of rounds of the playoffs were absolutely asinine. Up was down, left was right. It was like playing one of those video games where you're trying to control an airplane and you want to go up and you go up and it goes down. That's what the earlier portions of the playoffs was. But these conference finals, I said every game, just it's 2-2 in the third. It's tied in the third. Every game other than one was tied 2-2 in the third. And that other game, we had one disallowed goal for each team. So it was an alternate universe 2-2 in the third. But really, this conference finals, it's been unders other than when the Stars tied it up with the goalie pulled with a couple seconds. But every single game has been close and tied in the third. And on Saturday's video, I said my favorite team to take was Panthers plus 1.5. And I wouldn't be mad if you bet the draw in 60 minutes draw. And if you did that, you would have won every game of this conference final so far. 4 games, 4 draws in 60 minutes, that is. And I don't know, is tonight going to be any different? It's hard to say no. It's hard to say that by the third period, this game isn't going to be tied 2-2. Which is why I do like both teams to score 2+. But what side do I like? Here's how I'm going to go about it. For the rest of this series, which team is plus 1.5? That's who I like in the game. I like the Carolina Hurricanes plus 1.5 in this game. And that's simply because nobody seems to be able to separate. Carolina, if you look at the real nitty-gritty, you look at that win-o-meter, although you know my feelings on that. I don't live and die by the Wheel of Fortune win-o-meter. But they have played extremely well. Bobrovsky has been, the ultimate equalizer. Then again, Anderson played pretty incredible in Game 1. And now he's coming back in there tonight. I guess he needed a little extra rest. They don't want to risk him out there because he's one of those guys, made of glass. You play him too much, he's just going to get injured. But he'll be back in there tonight. 2-2 in the third, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe because it's the first game in Florida, slight little bit of a ruckus factor. I think there's a slight chance there may be some more goals. But with that said, not like anything over 7. I mean, if you can take Carolina plus 1.5 under 7.5, I think that is an extremely good bet. Because on the off chance, let's say it's 3-2 in the third again, and you get like that Jamie Benn tying goal or something, and then you win or lose in overtime, you're still clear with that 7.5. So I mean, Carolina plus 1.5 under 7.5. Any way you can get Carolina at plus 1.5. Like if you go on to Caesars and utilize the same game parlay, and why would you do that? Because if you're a new user on Caesars, you don't get better transitions than this. Your first bet will be risk-free up to $1,250 as long as you're a new user on the platform, over 21, and you're obviously located in a state or province where sports betting is permitted. So first bet, $1,250, risk-free, but if you got a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So you're ready to throw $1,250 on something? You're going to start with that Carolina plus 1.5 because I'm a little wiggly about that over-under tonight for whatever reason. Maybe first game in Florida, a little bit of ruckus. I don't know. I'm not going to add the under 5.5, although I'm tempted to. What I want to do is go back to something we utilized last game, and it hit by the end of the first period, and that was Duclair, who's cleared his over on shot totals by the end of the first period in both games. They haven't moved it up to 2.5. So if you combine Carolina plus 1.5 with over 1.5 shots on goal for Duclair, that brings you up to plus money. So that's a bet that I can absolutely get behind. And in this game, I think that some of those major Carolina players are going to find themselves on the score sheet. Aho found himself on the score sheet in both games so far. Wouldn't be upset if you wanted to put him or Natchez. Either one of those two guys I think is probably a pretty good bet to get 1 point in this game. Then going back to some of those same game parlays, both teams over 1.5, Carolina plus 1.5. Any variation to get you Carolina at plus. And that is what I got for you here on this Monday. I mean, I could just give you more things, but I don't want to start tossing stuff at you that I don't feel extremely confident about. You want to know one that I saw? One that I saw that's a little crazy on FanDuel. They offer you like these pre-produced same game parlays. I saw a plus 3,500 for Barkov to have over 1.5 assists and Marty Necas to have over 1.5 assists. It's plus 3,500, which is wild, obviously, because there's a chance this game gets a little ruckusy. The games in Carolina, I have no faith to get a little ruckusy, but in Florida, where the Stahl line won't be able to match up against who they want to match up against, and Florida's able to get a little bit better matchups, so that will help them on the offensive side, which means Carolina might have to push a little more on the offensive side. There is a chance that bet can... It's plus 3,500. Just something to wet your beak at the end of this video. But if you need more... the transitions are unbelievable. If you need more bets, you can obviously go over to OddsShopper Premium. You know those people at Area 51. They're not allowed to sleep. They're not allowed to go home. The way it works is you live in the bunkers. You live inside the algorithms, cranking out stuff so that you guys know who gives you the best return on investment with shots on goals and points and first period totals. So go over to OddsShopper Premium and subscribe there. And also come follow me on Instagram. That way if I can find anything that comes up last minute, I can post it to my story or something like that. And then follow me anyway. I got a comedy podcast. I got things you can... Don't you like to chuckle? Don't you like to release endorphins this time of year? Well, if you do, come follow me at Andy Francis, the same way you see it spelled on your screen. I will be back with you tomorrow where we talk Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. We're going to Dallas. All right, I will see you then.